Your voice, your superpower. So often, I find the one thing that can help me progress is the one thing that, not so much recently, but definitely over the years, I've felt I've had to withhold my voice. A superpower of sorts, because on the other side of using your voice, there are options. And not all options that come about will be likable, but better to say what you have to say than leave things unsaid. I guess one of the major issues with speaking and not being heard is that that can hurt. And it can hurt to recognize you aren't listened to or your experience is not similar or familiar. Therefore, the feelings aren't shared, and so holding space or being held space for can feel stretched. I started this the other day and wasn't able to finish it. Not for any particular reason, I just ran out of spark. But I love operating from a space of flow. I know I will show up when called. Divine timing. Using your voice and being inquisitive calls you to think, and through thinking, there is encouragement to feel, presenting you with time and another way of navigating your emotions. There is definitely something very liberating that happens when you speak up for yourself, and I find it's even more powerful when you're able to say what you have to say without losing your cool. That being said, your feelings are very valid, and you must always listen to your instincts when it comes to recognizing anger, etc. Of course, I understand how hard it is in the moment to check in and ask yourself, what am I feeling and why? Because sometimes the reaction can be so imminent, and that's your body signaling to you that something is wrong. There's an uncomfortable give and take going on. But like all things with practice, you can actually get to a space where you respond with intent, without rage or bitterness, clouding your judgment. It's important to be able to speak up when you're being wronged, and equally just as important to speak up when you're happy and grateful and life is blooming and you're becoming. Using your voice is pain relief because anyone who truly cares for you and loves you will hold space for you, granting you space, remembering that you too are human, embracing this experience. You also make mistakes, which are just lessons, and you're allowed to feel what you feel. Proper communication allows us to iron out our misunderstandings and actually cause us to be more inquisitive of one another, which is brilliant. The only issue can be when you do this with people who have their guard up, you will receive pushback, which is not so brilliant. And quite a shame because that defensive nature can leave you feeling scolded for trying to understand or trying to get to know someone better. Do not take offence. That is a defense mechanism, usually stemming from fear of being seen or heard, and often arising because an individual has felt they have had to hide or choose to hide for fear of being seen. Communication can feel scary. Openness and being given space to communicate can seem alarming when your life experience has asked you to shy away from being heard or worse, mask. Whilst using your voice to try to understand others and share what you're feeling is a very important and useful tool. What is even more important is grasping the opportunity to hear yourself aloud, to tell your truth and let it out. And if unfortunately you're not heard, that doesn't matter. What matters is you're constantly asserting your trust in yourself. You hear yourself and you listen to yourself, and from there you grant yourself the permission to move accordingly. You do not shy away from self. You do not feel so small and think so little of yourself that you neglect to use your power. Using your voice is how you stand up for yourself. Using your voice is what happens, what helps you learn and navigate the world around you. And no matter what you are told or who tries to silence you or overlook you, you can be proud of yourself for speaking your truth. How will you use your voice today? Your voice is your superpower. Sending light and love always. And remember, to love thyself would be an awfully big adventure. You're listening to Self Love, Love Self 365 with me, Lahela Dahlia Law.